Hello everyone and welcome back to TowerGate. It is TowerGate day number 716, 716, March the 9th, 2019, Saturday. Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, before I get to today's quite interesting news, just wanted to start off before I do that by just ranting here a little bit about something I, fell into yesterday as I was just going through various news clips, those YouTube videos, the quick ones you hit, a couple minutes long. Just looking at the responses to what was going on, specifically dealing with, the Jerry Nadler thing, going after Trump, wanting to question and subpoena all these documents and all these people, including two of his sons and everyone around him, including Julian Assange. I don't know if you've seen the list of people that Jerry Nadler wants to interview, but most of these people are going to give him the finger and tell him to take a hike, right? So, Julian Assange is not coming over to testify. You notice you didn't see Christopher Steele or James Comey or Peter Strzok or any of these people on that list. Oh, no. These are all just people around Trump or Trump Russia or whatever. And so I was watching, a couple different videos of commentators talking about, all that's going on. And, because it started with, of course, the FBI. As soon as Trump announced that he was running for president, literally that's when it started. And it was the FBI and the DOJ. Then it morphed into the Mueller witch hunt. Then now that that's just about come to an end, we're being told. Now it's Nadler running his investigation. You got the bug-eyed fool Adam Schiff. You got all these things going on. And it just blew my mind because I'm watching some of these commentators. And the big question of the day around these people, they're all saying, when's it going to end? When's this going to stop? Where does this end? And I'm thinking to myself, are these people crazy? Where does it end? When's it going to stop? It's never going to stop. That's the point. Since day one, when Trump announced he was running for president, it started. It has never stopped. It's never going to stop until he's gone. That's when it's going to stop. Maybe. It was just making me mad. I'm thinking, why are these people asking us such a stupid question? When's it going to end? How does it all end? It never ends. That's the point. The point is to keep running this narrative to try and destroy Trump so that he is unelectable in 2020. They couldn't stop him in 2016, so they're going to make damn sure he's unelectable by 2020. That's all this is about. They know there's nothing there. But I'm watching all these professional pundits who are getting paid six figures in many cases. And they're close. They're scratching their head. Oh, when's it going to end? How's it all going to end? I don't know. What do you think about this? These people are sorry, man. It's never going to end. Unless they all want to go back and watch videos I was doing from over a year ago when I told them how to end it all. I told them how to end the Mueller witch hunt. Told him every bit of it. The way that you put a stop to it is you go on offense. Offense. You start fighting back. You go on offense. That's how you shut it down. There are plenty of corrupt Democrats. You've got the FBI, the DOJ running a frame-up operation on the president, and there's overwhelming evidence to prove it. Tons of evidence, tons of ammunition. They're just sitting back taking it, constantly on defense. When you go on offense, believe me, you'll begin to put an end to it. The problem is you haven't made the other side feel any pain. Of course they're going to continue the investigations. Of course they're going to continue the frame-ups and the cover-ups. Because they've not been called out. They've not even been challenged, really. Other than by a few members of the Freedom Caucus. But they were blocked from being able to do anything because of Paul Ryan, Big Ears Eddie Munster Ryan. The answer to your question, pundits, is how does it end, where does it end, when does it end, is it ever going to end? The question is no, it will never end unless you go on offense. The Republicans control the Senate. They can do what Jerry Nadler and Adam Schiff are doing. They can call in a bunch of people. They can call in all of Clinton and all her friends. They can call in the FBI and the DOJ. They can call in Mr. Potato Head and Mr. Brennan. or Mr. Clapper. They can call these people in. They sure can. They can request all them documents. They can do all these things. So, I just got a little irritated at watching these pundits asking these, what I consider to be ridiculous questions. How's it going to end? When's it going to end? Where's it going to end? Stupid questions. If you're a professional media pundit, you shouldn't be saying these things. You should already know the answer to these questions. When's it going to end? Never. Not until Trump is gone. Maybe. And what do you do about it? How do you put an end to it? You go on offense. You throw a few punches back. You ever thought of that? When someone's slapping you around and you just take it, they'll just keep slapping you around. At some point, you got to square up and drill them into chops. And then they go, oh shit, this dude hits back. I think I'll go fuck with somebody else. That's how it works. These people are irritating me, man. Now, now that I've taken care of that, let's go ahead and get to the topics of the day, of which there are quite a few interesting ones. Well, I guess most of you have heard by now that Jussie Smollett has been indicted on 16 felony counts by a Chicago grand jury. Dude's from Chicago, right? It's a Chicago grand jury. Highly left-wing, as we all know. The home of Barack Hussein Obama and the rotten Reverend Clinton. 16 felony counts. I imagine that probably involves filing false police reports, lying to police on multiple occasions, I'm sure. Various other counts. They didn't list the counts, but I'm sure we'll get them probably within the next 2 to 3 days. We'll actually see the indictments. But yeah, I mean, you get a federal grand jury, or not a federal jury, but a jury in Chicago to indict, a famous guy from Chicago who's an anti-Trumper, and that's what this is all about. He must be pretty damn guilty. They must have presented some pretty darn good evidence, wouldn't you think? For them to get 16 indictments on 16 felony counts, they must have had one hell of a case. The evidence must be overwhelming. And I don't think I've heard a peep out of his lawyer today. So there you go. I wonder how this is going to work out. Obviously, he's going to be convicted on probably, if not all, most of these counts. Certainly, that would involve jail time. These are felonies, 16 felony counts. We have to assume he's not going to be on that TV show anymore, and he probably just ruined his life and his career. You might want to put this dude on suicide watch, because he just ruined his life, and he did it to himself. Guy was making $30,000 an episode. Had other things going on. He was, he wasn't poor by any. Maybe he wasn't super rich, but he certainly wasn't poor. The guy was doing pretty damn well, and he screwed it all up. Screwed it all up for nothing. And even if he would have been successful, that story would have got a couple of days. It would have been blown over by another fake scam. And by the way, there's another fake scam underway in Chicago as we speak that the police are investigating. Another fake hoax crime. The copycats. And there's a lot of these, by the way. Be interesting to see how the left-wing media covers this. So, there we go. Jussie indicted on 16 felony counts. The evidence must be overwhelming. Well, it looks like the bug-eyed fool, Adam Schiff for brains, has some splaining to do. It appears that Schiff, the Schiff head, his staff, Schiff head's staff, coached Michael Cohen 4 times over a period of 10 hours. 4 times over 10 hours. Little collusion? Little witness tampering, maybe? What's alarming about this is that the fact that he was coached 4 times for over 10 hours, and he's still set right there, and added a few more perjury charges to his tally, and he cleared Trump. Even with the bug-eyed fool and his team coaching Cohen, Cohen said the two most important things: never, well, really three or four, never went to Prague, never been to the Czech Republic. Trump never directed him to lie to anybody. Said he wasn't aware of there being any blackmail material on Trump. Wasn't aware of any of the stuff that's in the dossier. None of it makes any sense. And then other than those things, which essentially exonerate Trump, he lied 3 or 4 times. Now, actually, Jordan says it was 6 times. So even after being coached for 10 hours in 4 different sessions by Adam Schifferbrain's staff, he still effed it up. That's how bad this is, man. And that was their star witness. That was the Democrat star witness. Can you imagine what's coming? Maybe they'll bring Jussie Smollett in. Get his testimony. Oh my God. Man, what a freak show this is. What a freak show. On a lighter note, Georgia Republican Doug Collins has unilaterally released a 268-page transcript of a deposition that Bruce Ohr gave to Congress in August. Collins said his patience with the Department of Justice had grown thin. He says he plans on releasing additional transcripts from the committee task force. And keep in mind, they interviewed people like Nellie Ohr, Bruce's wife, James Baker, the general counsel, and boy, he dropped just from what's been leaked or what we've learned of was pretty damning. Wait till we get the entire testimony. And of course, Lisa Page, and we know that she dropped a few bombs as well. That's right, Mr. Collins, Representative Collins, go ahead and drop it all. You certainly can. You know, Congress could actually stand on the floor of the House and read the entire thing. Very good news. So the last week or so, we've had 2 or 3, I wouldn't say drops, but we've had 2 or 3 stories I've covered in the past week about Bruce Ohr's testimony. And I was kind of wondering who's getting this stuff and who's leaking this stuff. And I don't know if you consider this leaks or not, but obviously it must have been coming from Doug Collins' office or people on the Republican caucus, the Freedom Caucus. So that explains why we've been getting these morsels dropped out over the past week about Bruce Ohr. And now the entire 268-page deposition is available. And I'm sure that right now John Solomon and various other people are probably poring over it, looking at it, and I'm sure we'll get more. Of course, we just learned a couple days ago that Bruce Ohr was meeting with Steele for over a year, including 10 months after Trump was president. We know he was communicating with, possibly meeting with, Glenn Simpson. And Simpson didn't tell him that. And that's you talk about a guy right now that I ultimately think is going to be facing, at the very least, perjury charges. Glenn Simpson. He lied in his testimony multiple times. We've caught him in many lies. Comey, multiple lies. Peter's been stroking us, multiple lies. What's his name? And McCabe, multiple lies. These guys are all in deep, deep trouble, man. I'm telling you. When they go on offense and they actually start producing the evidence, and I know they want to wait till the Mueller probe is over, but it's just about over. And when this all begins to be unearthed, and timing's important. Maybe it's maybe the timing they want is leading up to the 2020 elections. Maybe that's the timing they want. But I'm not a very patient person. I want to stop the bleeding now. I want to stop the attacks now. I want to move forward now. I don't see any need to prolong this thing. So as I said earlier, go on offense, get it done. So yeah, we can expect more from Bruce Ohr. His testimony over. I'm probably in the next few days we'll get a lot more stuff. And if Doug Collins is telling the truth here, and he follows through, Lisa Page is a testimony I would really love to read. And of course, James Baker. I mean, just what was leaked after the first couple days. In fact, Jordan and Meadows said his testimony was the most damning. And it's probably the most damaging to Comey and Lynch and Yates and McCabe. Because he said that he told him, he said, no, I mean, Hillary Clinton violated the Espionage Act. And he was told, hey, the DOJ is not going to look at the Espionage Act. They're going to pretend it doesn't exist. They're going to look at mishandling classified information or something else. They're going to do something else. And he wasn't happy about that. There was actually arguments, fights over this. And then, of course, Comey comes out and exonerates her, at which point, that's it. And what it's all going to come down to is when this finally, the rubber hits the road here, it's going to come down to, why did you do what you did? Why did you do it? What was the evidence? What was the probable cause? What was the reasonable suspicion? What did you have? What did you have? Really, what did you have? Well, we now know what they had. The dossier. Problem is, they were told the dossier was bullshit, and they did it anyway. They used it anyway to go after a presidential candidate, people on his team. And what has all come of all of this? Well, you take the Manafort, even Manafort, with all the bank fraud and all the tax evasion and witness tampering and all those other things, we just saw the judge just gave him less than 4 years. 9 months of it already served. What did Papadopoulos get? 2 weeks. Michael Flynn's never been sentenced. You're not going to sentence the Russian trolls. And right now, Uncle Bob just put forth a request with the judge in that case to block over 1 million pages of documents relating to the Russians, the Russian trolls. He doesn't want that publicly made available to the public. They're running from their own investigation. Carter Page is fine. They never charged him. I think it's pretty obvious. We got more to say on that here in just a moment. Let's move on. Eric Holder. Whew. Eric Holder. He says that the Democrats should pack the Supreme Court the very next time that they are in power. He's assuming they're ever going to be in power again. I think that party may be defunct before they ever get back in power again. And he says that they should pack the court and expand the court to 10 justices. Yeah, I believe FDR tried that. Did he not? How'd that work out? Yeah, that'll go over real well. If I were Trump and I read this, you know what I would do if I were Trump? I would say, Eric Holder made a speech the other day talking about expanding the court to 10 justices. I think that's a fantastic idea. I think I'll do that and expand the court by 10 and add 2 more conservatives. That's exactly what I would do if I were Trump. I'm sure he'll tweet about it at some point. Trump will, hey, Eric Holder made a great speech the other day talking about expanding the court. Hey, I've been giving that some thought. Maybe I'll think about that. Hey, maybe I'll expand the court. Well. Guess who just popped their head up out of the hole? John Huber. John Huber. Remember him? He was appointed by Sessions, the Crimson Tide elf, who was going to get to the bottom of it all. That's right, he appointed Huber to look into the FISA abuse and the DOJ and all that stuff. Finally, after over a year, Jordan and Meadows got tired of that, and they subpoenaed him, or at least invited him to come and testify, and he did not. I think they still should do that. Maybe Lindsey Graham will do it. But anyway, John Huber attended a meeting this past week with the new Attorney General, William Barr. And later, Huber tweeted out that the U.S. attorneys thoroughly enjoyed our time with AG Barr this week. He is a solid, proven leader with a clear vision for the Department of Justice. We will move forward with his priorities to hold offenders accountable and advance the rule of law. That was his tweet. I don't have a lot of confidence in Mr. Huber or Mr. Barr, to be quite honest with you. And that's why I think that Lindsey Graham or Bob Johnson or anyone else who can bring forth or do what Doug Collins did, start releasing documents. Trump needs to declassify everything. I think that they need to put everything out there so that it is impossible for people like Barr and Mr. Huber to avoid doing their job, because I have no confidence in them whatsoever. This sounds like deep state establishment talk. We will move forward with his priorities: hold offenders accountable and advance the rule of law. Really, hold offenders accountable. How about the people who tried to orchestrate a coup against the president, Mr. Huber? Are you hard at work on that? I've seen no indictments. There's enough out there already to indict. What are you waiting for? Advance the rule of law. My friend, there is no rule of law. When the Department of Justice and the FBI can orchestrate, along with the intelligence community, foreign governments, and every damn thing else, can orchestrate a coup against the president, and then when they get caught, cover it up, and then walk away scot-free and not even be held accountable because of people like you, Mr. Huber, and you, Mr. Barr, let them. No one has any belief at all that there's any such thing as the rule of law in the District of Criminals. Every average person in this country living outside of D.C. knows there is no such thing as equal justice, the rule of law in D.C. Not at all. It doesn't exist. We see time after time after time hardcore criminals like the Rotten Reverend and her friends and those folks over at the FBI, the DOJ, the intel community pull off these stunts and they walk away scot-free. Clapper sits right there and lies, openly lies to Senator Wyden. Blatantly lies, and everybody knows it. Clinton sat there and lied during the Benghazi hearings. Comey sat there and lied during his hearings. These people constantly, did they get charged with perjury? No. Witness tampering? Are you kidding me? So no, Mr. Barr, no, Mr. Huber, stick a sock in it. When you actually produce some results that look anything like upholding the rule of law or advancing the rule of law, holding offenders accountable, when you do that, maybe we'll have a little confidence. But at this point, no one believes a damn word you say. Shut up and go back down in your hole. As I've said many times, the only way the truth about what was done in 2016 is going to come out is if the president gets personally involved, and it will take a lot of public pressure. Only when these jackasses are forced, because they have no other choice, to investigate these crimes, only then will we see anything like justice. And it won't be the same justice that you and I would receive, I can assure you of that. Fortunately, I have probably the best subscribers of any YouTube channel on YouTube, based on the comments I read. I don't have the biggest channel, but I've got probably the best educated and the most informed commenters and subscribers to my channel that there could possibly be. So it's not like, I'm kind of preaching to the choir. You all know this. You all know this. But there's other good YouTube channels and other people sub to other channels. I read their comments as well. I look at other channels. There's a lot of people that know what we talk about here. We're all on the same team, and we all know the same thing, that we're being fed a lot of bullshit. And we're sick of it. It's time for a full-throated, frontal attack on the deep state and what they did in 2016. And that's not just an isolated event. How far back do you want to go? JFK assassination, MLK assassination, RFK assassination, probably Malcolm X, I assume. 9/11, God knows the Vietnam War. You could go on and on and on and on and on and on of the crimes committed by the deep state. And it's got to come to an end. Someone has to finally put a stop to it. Because at this point, if you let them get away with what they did, what do you think they'll do next? If you can attempt to take out a president in a coup, what else can you do to that president and get away with? We know what they got away with in 1963, don't we? They got away with that, didn't they? That's why we're here where we are today. It can get much worse. Someone better put a stop to it, Mr. Barr. And if I'm Trump, I give Barr about 6 months tops. If in 6 months he hasn't either indicted some people or appointed a special counsel that is indicting people, I'd fire his ass. I call him into my office and say, well, thanks, Bill. Been around for 6 months. I've been watching you over there at the Department of Justice as the Attorney General, and I got to say, you're doing a really tough job. And so you're fired. The president can fire the AG anytime he wants, for any reason he wants. And I would. I'd fire him, and I'd tell him to take Christopher No Shit Sherlock Ray right along with him. He's up to his eyeballs in the cover-up. I would charge his ass with being part of the cover-up. He's been the FBI director for long enough. He knows exactly what happened. He's held no one accountable. No one. Christopher No Shit Sherlock Ray, William Barr, and the whole crew. Fire them all. They're not getting results. And that's what I would tell them. I'd say, you know exactly what happened in 2016. All the violations. They attempted a coup on me. And they've been running the cover-up ever since. On your watch. And I'm going to get someone in here who will actually investigate this. And get the facts out. And let the jury decide. Just keep in mind, you better get a lawyer. Because now you're part of the cover-up. Well. Ilhan Omar. So on Friday, Ilhan Omar comes out and she calls Obama. She says Obama is a pretty face who got away with murder. Obama, the pretty face who got away with murder. So, Nancy Pelosi let her slide. She let her slide on this deal. And as me and many other people said, what you need to do, Pelosi, is really call her out. Boot her off of that committee, that Foreign Relations Committee she's on. And probably tell her she should resign. But at least kick her off the committee and shut her up. But the fact that Pelosi did not do that, she only empowered Ilhan Omar. And as I've said, like many other people are going to say, we're going to be right back here. She's not going to stop with the anti-Semitic speech. She's not going to stop the crazy things that she says. She's not. And she didn't wait. Not even 24 hours. Less than 24 hours. She comes out and says that Obama is a pretty face who got away with murder. Now, there's a lot of Democrats who love Obama. That's not going to go over very well, and it certainly won't go over with Obama because he is certainly going to hear about it. You can bet on that. And I don't know that he personally will comment on that, but he's got plenty of surrogates who will. She's playing a very dangerous game in a place where, a lot of bad things happen to people who go against the power brokers in Washington and the establishment. And there's no more bigger power broker in the establishment than people like Obama and Clinton. And you think you think she was done there? Oh, no. No. She wasn't done. She had some more to add. So after saying that Obama was a pretty face who got away with murder, then she goes after Meghan McCain, who's got a lot of problems. I don't really like Meghan McCain all that much, to be honest with you. Certainly didn't like her father, Senator Magoo. I think he should have been strung up on charges as being part of the deep state coup. He had an integral role to play in the deep state coup. But apparently, on The View, Meghan Magoo came out and said something about Omar's comments, anti-Semitic comments. And even though she's not Jewish, she, made her thoughts pretty well known that she didn't think it was, that should be happening from anyone representing, a member of Congress. No member of Congress should be making those types of statements. So Omar didn't waste a single minute coming back jumping all over Megan Magoo. And so she tweets out, after tweeting out about Obama being a pretty face getting away with murder, she tweets out, she says, Megan's late father literally sang bomb, 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 bomb Iran and insisted on referencing to his Vietnamese captors as gooks. And he gave the world Sarah Palin. Man, oh man. Pelosi has completely lost control of that party, I'm telling you. She has got to be furious. But, Pelosi's the type of person, when you cross her, you generally get sacked. You get thrown off the committee. You get tossed. I have no doubt that she's behind the most 3 recent ethics investigations now that have been opened against Kami Cortez. I have no doubt that it's Pelosi's goons who dropped the dime on her for that campaign, the campaign violation thing that she's dealing with right now. I have no doubt that that was punishment. Nancy Pelosi punishes you when you go out of line, just like Boehner or any other speaker does. The Speaker of the House is the leader of their party, and in the Congress, they punish you when you don't fall in line. And it's extraordinary to see that Pelosi is being intimidated by 3 freshman congresswomen, who are very destructive to what she and her party say they're trying to do. I mean, these are very destructive forces. These 3 women could destroy the Democratic Party because Nancy cannot act. She's frozen. She's terrified, totally intimidated. And again, I mean, I don't think she can get a handle on it now. She should, if she was going to deal with this problem, she should have dealt with it right away, but she didn't. What she did is that she was facing a situation where there was a lot of these freshmen that weren't going to vote for her. So what she did was to pacify them, she gave them seats on committees that you normally wouldn't get as a freshman. She threw a bone their way, and she was thinking she would get some loyalty back, but she's finding out there is no loyalty in the swamp. And ultimately, this is going to end up in a real pissing contest between her and these 3, and Nancy will find probably a backdoor way to get after these 3. She'll have to be careful how she does it, but you can bet she'll retaliate in some way, assuming they don't drive her out. And I have no doubt that behind the scenes, they're probably working right now to ouster Pelosi. They didn't want her in the first place. She's definitely lost control of this thing, and everybody knows it. Now, finally, in yesterday's video, I challenged Lindsey Graham to get the ball rolling. Maybe he watched my video. Maybe someone sent him my video. Because yesterday, on Friday, Lindsey Graham began his investigation into the FBI, the DOJ misconduct. He will be focusing on FISA abuse and the dossier. He sent a letter to Attorney General Barr. And Graham, in the letter, says he wants all the FBI and DOJ documents related to investigation attempts to verify allegations made in the dossier. So this is where it begins with Lindsey Graham. We're going to see exactly whether or not he's going to get serious and really do something, or if this is just political theater. We're going to find out a lot about Lindsey Graham over the next few months, and we're going to find out a lot about whether or not he can push Barr into doing what Barr should be doing on his own. Well done, Lindsey Graham. We'll keep watching. We'll give you praise when you do well, and we'll kick you in the ass when you don't. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow with more TowerGate. You guys have a good night. See ya. Bye.